The topic this morning is an AIDS update, and we're fortunate to have with us to give this update the director of Project COPE at Meharry Medical College, Dr. Poku. And let me welcome you to the show this morning, Dr. Poku. Dr. Poku, one of the things that we'd like to try to accomplish this morning is to talk about AIDS as a disease, and at the same time recognizing that not long ago you were with us and you gave us what we consider to be at the time an excellent overview of the whole problem of AIDS. And we'd like to repeat that today and to sort of give as much of an update as we possibly can, excuse me, as we possibly can. And in order to do that, let's start off by having you to give us some information about yourself, about your background, your education, and your career, and your involvement with this dreaded disease.
I'm originally from Ghana in West Africa. I've been in the U.S. since 1981. I first had a master's degree in Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, had a PhD in Vanderbilt University, and master's in public health at Meharry Medical College. Since '81, when this disease surfaced, I have been following it because it had implications in Africa, where I come from. So I have been following this disease for quite a while. And I was fortunate to work as director of this Project COPE, whose main function is to do everything it can to help eliminate this disease among the community where we are.
And so you've been working with this as a problem since 1981.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us some information, Dr. Poku? I think that many of our viewers would probably like to know more information about the history and the causes of this disease. I think we all know that it first appeared among the homosexual population and et cetera. But give us some information about the history and some of the causes.
Well, primarily this disease surfaced around 1981. 1981 was the first time there were reported cases, reported in the newspaper, in articles, about 5 cases or 6 cases of unusual symptoms among primarily gay young men. We didn't know what it was. All that the doctors found was that there were some cancers of the skin called Kaposi sarcoma. So in fact, some even called it Kaposi sarcoma opportunistic infection. Then later on, when the disease was seen more and more among the gay community, it was called GRID, gay-related immune deficiency disease. But the common thing among all those persons was the fact that they all had what we call suppressed immune system. They were young men who were otherwise healthy, but they had suppressed immune system and they were being attacked by other diseases. For example, Kaposi sarcoma, it's a disease that is there. It attacks primarily older folks or persons who are from the Mediterranean area, but it's rarely seen among young people. So it was a rare symptom that was seen. Also, we saw this pneumonia, which was attacking these young men. So that's the first time that we did see some signs.
Now, this was in 1981.
1981. We didn't even know that it was caused by a virus. It was in 1983, the first time that Dr. Montagnier in France isolated this virus from the lymph nodes of some clients. Then at the same time, Dr. Gallo in the US also found the same virus. The virus was called different names. It was called LAV, HTLV3, whatnot. But the World Health decided that it was best to give it one name. So the virus was called HIV, Human Immune Deficiency Virus. It was called human because it causes only the problem we are seeing on only humans. It causes only immune deficiency or suppression of immune system in only humans. We have some animals who have been infected, but it doesn't cause this immune suppression in those other animals. So it was called HIV. Even though the virus was isolated in 1983, we believe that based upon the bloods that were collected for other researches in the late 70s, we believe that the virus was there at that time. Now, you asked me about the source of this virus.
Well, now, what are you saying is that even though we only discovered it or identified it in 81, that there's a possibility that it even goes back a little further than 81?
What I would say is this. We never saw a virus that did this before in the pre-70s. I mean, before the 70s. We only believe that this virus might either have come to the community, might have been created, might have mutated to this point somewhere in the late 70s. That is what we believe. Now, the source itself, where it came from, I've heard the issue about that it came from a monkey in Africa, and when it went into human beings, it changed. It's possible, even though personally I don't believe that was how it happened. Some people believe that it was within a remote race, and it has now surfaced in the larger community. We don't know for sure. But we do know that it's now with us. It's a very, very potent virus, and all it does is that when it attacks you, it suppresses or it destroys the very core of the system that's supposed to protect you against other microorganisms, other pathogens.
That's the immune system.